Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Tuesday topic. Today, the first of our academic year 2021 to 2022 Tuesday topic, and it is 10 Principles of an Age-Friendly University with our own Dean Laura Gitlin and Dr. Roseanne DiMaria Galili and Kate Clark, the Director of Strategic Initiatives. But today is about 10 principles for an age-friendly university. And let me throw it now over to Dr. Laura Gitlin to introduce herself and the rest of the panel. Dr. Gitlin.
Great, thank you, Darren, and welcome everybody. And thank you for joining us to look at what it means to be an age-friendly university. I think many of you know the answer to that when I see the participants, and we want to make this as interactive as possible. But just I'll say a few remarks to begin with, and that is, as most of you are very well aware, we are what you call a super aging society. And that means that we have this amazing opportunity to live a long life. But how we live that life is very disparate. I mean, some people have better opportunities to live longer with good quality of life while others don't. And this is particularly true for our underrepresented minorities and our Black and Latino and Native American, who are also aging at a very fast rate. But the disparities with white urban, I should say, folks is quite palatable. And then we also have disparities between our white rural older adults and our urban rural white older adults. And some of you are familiar with the amazing document that we did with AARP, Dr. Roseanne DiMaria Galili spearheaded and led that effort. Maybe, I don't know if somebody, Melinda or Kate, you can put that in the chat. That really emphasizes those disparities. But importantly, too, it points to how our city is entering a super aging city, our state, and we follow the country in that regard as well as the world. I find it interesting that we have to talk about a super aging society and aging, because like aging, that's what we do. I mean, all of us age and all of us want to live a long life, and all of us want to live a long life with life quality. And that's shared across all cultures, races, ethnicities, socioeconomic. It's just shared. I mean, what do you say when you get, if you have children, you say you want them to live a long and happy life. That's what everybody wants. But because of, and we'll get into this, because of extreme health disparities, access to needed care, unwalkable cities, for example, and buildings that are not accessible to everybody as they age, we do have to talk about age as a dimension of diversity when we think about diversity, equity, and inclusion in our university. So that Justin, we sent, I believe everyone should have, or that we can send out again, some infographics that were created to help you understand some of the pretty amazing numbers that speak to the fact that not only are we an aging society, but it's some people I've heard say, well, okay, after the baby boomers, we'll go back to the way things were, with the younger population. And that is just not the case anywhere in the world except possibly in Africa, which is still an incredibly young continent. But we do have these infographics that we can share in terms of numbers globally and in the United States, and then also what do we look like from an age lens at Drexel University. But our main point here is to have a discussion about what an age-friendly university looks like, and maybe in the next slide, Melinda. And we have some interactive opportunities, and we're also going to share what we're doing in terms of being age-friendly. So we'll talk a little bit about age-friendly, why it matters, One of the reasons we have to talk about being age-friendly is because ageism is present in our society, in our university, the way we talk about growing old. And then we'll have an opportunity to showcase different activities and how you can get involved in different ways. So let's go on, and I'm going to turn it over to Melinda, because before we begin, we're going to do like a baseline analysis of where people are at. And so Melinda, you explain this, if you will.
Certainly. So hopefully this is an easy thing for everyone to access. You can either access what's called Vvox, which is just an engagement platform, either through the link that Darren sent out via email first. I believe it's also in the chat box right here that it will take you directly to it, or you're more than welcome to scan the QR code. Or lastly, you can go into your browser, just type vvox.app and enter the ID that is on your screen here. However, I do believe it is in the chat box now so that it can take you directly to the session for today. And the first question is on the screen now and should be opening to answers at this time. All right. Okay, and we'll move forward now. So what this will doing is it's closing and it will populate onto the screen at this time.
That's great. Okay, so what do we see here? Yeah, we see really a whole, I love this Keith Richards. Okay, that's terrific. I want to go back in and put more in. So we see wise and wisdom. So the bigger size means more people, right? Indicated that. Right, Melinda? Yeah. Okay.
Correct, yes.
We see a whole mixture of challenges, vulnerable, isolation, gray, unimportant, health concerns, immunocompromised, nursing homes, unproductive, capable, boomers stories. That's kind of cool. Mistreatment opportunities. Okay, I think this captures the whole messaging that older adults themselves get. And if you think of COVID-19 and the messages around COVID-19, which still continue in terms of being the most frail and at risk, but yet a big argument in the media as to whether older adults should be first in line for vaccines or not, which was pretty amazing. There were actually statements by politicians who said, and t-shirts made that just said, you know, let the older people die to make room, make more vaccine, you know, so we have more vaccines for younger people. So we have very mixed messages. So if you could just go to the next slide. This is great. We're going to hold on to that. And that's just reflected in this graphic. Like old age is considered in from some of the messaging that you provided, you know, the glass is half full. We have a long way to go. We have a long life. It's very positive to, you know, it's the end of life. Life is frail and it's over. So how you see aging very much is affected by social media and how we think about growing old and also our own circumstances. Next slide.
So we have another poll opening up. So you can either have stayed on the same page and it should have bring up the next questionnaire, or the link in the chat will, again, if you need to go back to the same page. So we'll give this a couple of moments and you let me know when you would like us to close the poll, Dr. Gitlin.
Okay, great. And I think people really captured what ageism is. And ageism actually was termed by this brilliant geriatrician in 1975 in a book, Why Survive Growing Old in America, by Robert Butler, who really identified and characterized ageism as a systematic stereotyping and discrimination against people just because of their age, very much as racism and sexism accomplishes with focusing on skin color and gender and making assumptions based on that. Dr. Butler argued that ageism is alive and well in the United States. And again, we really saw that with COVID-19 in particular, and also worldwide. But it allows, he argued that it allows younger generations to view older people as different from themselves and like really participating in a process of othering and distinguishing older adults in very negative ways. The problem with ageism is that it perpetuates an internalization of negative assumptions about age. So, we see that in ourselves, like we all want to look younger and we all want to be told we look young and we feel young, and our language is very much biased and reflects ageism. And there's a lot of interesting studies and important studies that have shown that the stigma of growing old and ageist practices impacts older adults themselves' well-being, and it heightens the risks for mortality. There's a really fantastic study out of Yale that has shown that individuals who have the genetic predisposition and APOE4 gene towards dementia, and people who have this gene have the very high likelihood of getting dementia in their life. But those who view aging positively versus those with this gene that do not view aging positively, that this group who has the gene and views aging positively lowers their risk for dementia. And I think it's really an amazing study because it just shows that even under a genetic condition that we know predisposes someone to get dementia, it is modifiable by self-perception and societal attributions. So that's something that we really want to keep in mind. So there's a lot of examples of ageism. If you can go to the next, I think we have some of them. And I'm also just going to read some examples of ageism in healthcare. Physicians, for example, often dismiss a treatable pathology as a feature of old age. So maybe some of you have gone to the doctor with your parents or an older relative, and I have certainly heard that multiple times. Providers treat the natural effects of aging as a disease versus helping a person adapt or accommodate. Staff members share and laugh at ageist jokes. I've heard people in hospitals, health providers in hospitals make jokes in the elevator, for example, even though there's signs that say, please do not talk about your patients in the elevator. Staff members have implicit ageist thoughts and feelings and behaviors towards older adults without really being conscious of that. So this is something to think about. And providers apply stereotypes to older adults. Many older adults with different kinds of comorbidities are excluded from studies. So that is very serious. And then these are all considered really funny, right? Why not embrace a person who's still driving in her 80s or 90s and that she's being careful? Why is that a joke? Same thing with the that boomer remover. This was not the only t-shirt I've seen or the kinds of headlines that we saw. It's nice to be young, healthy, and full of energy. And so the assumption is when you get old, that's not what you have. And so these are very serious implicit biases. There's a great, Harvard, some of you may know the Harvard implicit bias test, and there's one on aging that's really very instructive to take. So go on their website and you'll see you'll have an opportunity to interact with that. The next slide, please. So I won't go through this. This is a graphic. I think it's by, I can't read who it's by actually, but this just goes into more depth and really through an infographic explains some of the points that I just made, that ageism is everywhere, ageism is harmful, ageism can be combated. I have to tell you it's alive, and thank you, World Health Organization, thank you. I have to tell you that it's alive and well in our university as it is in all universities. And I'm not diminishing the challenges as people age and have different kinds of challenges, what that means in terms of regulations and HR practices. But there's a big push for people to retire to make room for younger investigators. I hear that a lot, or younger faculty members. We don't have good mechanisms to involve some of our alumni who are older and want to return to the workforce or to come back and to their departments and to the university to share their life experiences or to serve as mentors and so forth. So we also have very mixed feelings about retirement. On one hand, you'll hear like very young people, 20s, 30s, 40s, I want to retire and just live a life of leisure. At the same time, people retired in their older age are often seen as, you know, inconsequential and out of the mainstream. So this is really an issue that we have in our university as in all other universities. Next slide, please. So ageism is also reflected in the way universities and higher education have been talking about the changes in the basic statistics and population statistics and, you know, the changes in the demography. And so we've heard, and we're trying to change this language, and I think we're almost successful. I don't know, Roseanne, if you feel differently, but we're almost successful in changing the paradigm from seeing a demographic cliff to seeing a demographic lift. And what that means is that within a couple of years, actually, I think it's in 2026, there's going to be a dramatic change in the proportion of people who are under 18 to the proportion of people who are over 65, with the vast majority of our country being over the age of 65. So what does that mean for universities? Actually, what does it mean for high schools and schools, middle school, and even elementary schools? They're closing. A lot of elementary schools in small towns in particular are closing. High schools are consolidating because there aren't enough younger people, right? I can tell you everybody up and down my block during COVID got a dog. They didn't have babies. And that just is a small slice of what's going on in terms of the larger population for a lot of different reasons. And so administration, higher education has been calling this the demographic cliff because universities are so tuition dependent on undergraduates, the traditional 18-plus-year-old. And it's not going to be the standard approach to universities is going to have to change. We like to think of it as a demographic lift, that we had this amazing opportunity of having a much larger group of people of all different ages across the life course who will need to come back to the university for skills, new competencies. We are adopting the language of Drexel being a place for lifelong learning. So Drexel for life. And we've been trying to use that term as well with our alumni. I know when I give talks to the alumni, and I hope when you talk to your students as well as your alumni, that you talk in terms of, you know, Drexel, it's Drexel for life. But that means that we have to re-examine our practices. We have to make our technologies, Blackboard included, friendly for people with all different kinds of vision, hearing, issues possibly, or challenges, really at any age, but particularly as people age. So again, the glass is half empty if you see it as a demographic cliff and a disadvantage because you're stuck in a very old system of thinking, or it's truly an opportunity. And I often tell students I get in front of that they're one of the first cohorts that can live to over 100 years of age with quality of life. And that is a remarkable accomplishment. That's not to say we don't have challenges as people age, but it is a remarkable accomplishment of all societies. Okay, next slide. So we launched the Age Well Collaboratory in 2018, and we call it A Center Without Walls, and it brings together researchers, and you're going to hear from Dr. Di Maria Galili about the interprofessional CELTA society approach. We've also brought over 80 community-based organizations that Kate Clark oversees to be our informers and helpers, and they're our stakeholders. And then we invite all of you to become part of the Age Well Collaboratory, and we want to have all of us think through and participate in these kinds of forums to address some of the real challenges that an aging world presents. And we began to look at this in different ways too. I don't know, I forgot, you'll have to tell me if was it a Tuesday topic that we looked at climate change and aging, for example, and older adults, particularly in low resource countries, are incredibly vulnerable to climate change. And even in our country, where there's water shortages in Texas and parts of California, for example, we already see who's most affected. Very low resourced communities, primarily populated by Black, Latin American individuals, as well as our older adult populations. So we have a lot of work to do. And so the next slide, please. So we're involved in a lot of activities. Age Well is a holding place, if you will, for our research, and we want to build up a robust scientific community and look at different issues related to what it means to age. And we have a number of projects associated with that. We're really very much within the spirit of Drexel with its theme of knowledge to action. Take our best evidence and apply it in different ways. And so we have different evidence-based programs moving forward and working with different communities. And then also we're working on different curricular elements. And you're going to hear some of that, I think, from both Kate and Roseanne as to what we're doing in that regard. So we see Age Well as multidimensional because being interested in age inclusivity really requires a multidimensional approach and an integration of research with practice and education. Next slide. One of the really important initiatives that we have launched is joining the international age-friendly university movement. And it really is something that I've remarked in other meetings and we've talked about. It was amazing that President Fry and Drexel as a whole had no hesitation on signing up to be age-friendly. And I can tell you, we have been, Roseanne can tell you, Kate can tell you, we've been to a number of meetings where what is the focus of the meeting? How, like conferences. The focus of the meeting is how can I get the administration, my dean or my president, to sign, to be age-friendly, to consider age. And so I'm really pleased to say, the readiness of Drexel and the vision that we have opportunity to involve in our aging communities in very unique ways to the benefit of them and to the benefit of Drexel. And so we are the first in Philadelphia to receive the designation of being age-friendly from Dublin University, and the second in the state. And we join a global network, which is very exciting, of 80 universities. They do organize a yearly or every other year, I believe, I think it's every other year, conference in Dublin, which we haven't been able, which hasn't happened because of COVID, but that would be a wonderful thing to be able to send a contingent of students and faculty to that at some point. And we have formed a really important steering committee composed of every major administrative unit at Drexel, and they're all working in their own units in different ways to endorse Drexel for Life and being age-friendly. And I think Kate's going to tell you more about age-friendly and the principles. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kate Clark, and I work in the College of Nursing and Health Professions for Dean Gitlin as her Director of Strategic Initiatives. And I've been involved with the Age Well Collaboratory since its inception, and I do a lot of work on age-friendly. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of our motivations for becoming an age-friendly university. I will also say that I put in the chat a link to a SWAY document that explains the and lists out each of the 10 principles which we've signed on to. And those that we're listing out right here also explains them as well. But the first reason that we have definitely embraced this is around lifelong workforce development. People are working longer and having multiple careers, and we want to be the place where people can come for lifelong learning. The second is around preparing for age diverse settings in the workforce. Our students are going to be graduating and coming into the workforce into these multi-generational office spaces, and we want them to have had the experience of intergenerational conversations and productivity and be excited for it and embrace it when they do come into the workforce. The next is around driving innovation in an aging society. And Dr. DiMaria Galili will talk about the Salt Society Network, which is doing just that at Drexel. And we really are supporting it and moving it forward. The fourth is around creating ideas, opportunities for engagement. Later in life, we hear a lot about isolation. And so bringing in our stakeholders, our community members, our faculty and staff, and it's going to definitely improve cognitive health and connection and engagement. The next is sustaining student populations. We heard about the cliff, and well, we are going to work on it through the lens of a lift and bringing in people from all different age groups to come to Drexel. And next, lastly, we actually added this angle, but around taking care of our own retired faculty and staff, alum, current faculty and staff, and really just thinking about how to be the most supportive and think about in terms of even retention of our faculty and staff, and then also continued engagement. Once you leave the workplace, you are still giving, and we are receiving, and we are giving back, and it's a really symbiotic relationship. So that's that. And so in saying all that, we wanted to pose this question to you around what tools, experiences, and support would you like to see? And also, what would you really expect from an age-friendly university? And with this information, we are definitely going to bring this back to the steering committee. So that's pretty exciting. So think about it for a second. And then what we decided to do, because it's been a little difficult with a Wordle, we thought people could just put it in the chat, and we can all just take a peek at the chat and see, and I can list them out. So let's just take a moment to do that. Day trips. I bet that means other social events. We're going to be hearing a little bit more about from our, we had a wonderful class, the Pennoni Honors Symposium was launched today, and the theme is aging, and Dr. DiMaria Galili will be speaking about that. But one of our students, we were asking them, what do you think of? We asked the same question. And one of the students said, the gym. I see older people at the gym, and I think we should open up more and have people coming to exercise and meet each other. So that sounded really great, Christine. HR practices that support employee needs as caregivers. This is something very exciting that we are definitely discussing in our committee. Financial opportunities. We have heard this time and time again about the cost of coming back to school if you're on a fixed income. And so we've been thinking a lot about that, working with Goodwin, thinking about different models. Engagement with the community aimed at all generations. Absolutely, John. We are working with the Dornsife Center. I'm sort of giving away my later slides, whoops. But it's exciting what you're saying, because this is all things that we are really excited about. Good. Well, I mean, that was an integrate. Oh, here we go. Integration into current classes or new classes that are multi-generational. Yes. So integrating aging, learning about life, like a life course perspective, bringing that into the classroom. It was interesting. Our class today there weren't any students who were older than, I would say, 21 or so in our class, and they all were welcoming it and wishing that there could be a more intergenerational classroom, which is very interesting. Opportunities that include older people, that focus more on what older people have to share and give, like their perspective versus helping people. Wow, that's really great. Anybody else? Great. This is a wonderful list. Thank you. And this will definitely be going back to our steering committee. So I'm just going to give you a little just overview. Melinda, you can just like set them all out. Just tell you just a little bit of a progress from our steering committee. We have formed it. We have met several times, and as you know, we have diverse representation. And you'll see a little bit more about who's on our committee in my next slide when I tell you about some of our projects. But we have worked on a variety of initiatives. A lot of our steering committees are working on age-friendly projects in their own spheres, and we're bringing them together and creating an inventory. And we're trying to get the word out about a lot of these interesting projects. We've created infographics, and a sway document that really describes age-friendly and the principles, which I put in the chat, and hopefully it's easy to use. We have done a lot of outreach. One of the big things that we discovered the group is that we need to sort of do some groundwork. The first couple of years we've been doing groundwork and really getting the word out about age-friendly and doing events such as this one. One of the biggest ones was a conference that our South Society Aging Network put on called The New Normal for Higher Education, and it was around aging. This is before the pandemic, so we got that great word, that term. But I'm going to put that into the chat as well. We have made a lot of external alliances also through the initiative by connecting with other universities that are also doing age-friendly work, and we're sharing resources and ideas and tips, which has been incredibly useful. Another thing is that we became a part of a national study on age-friendly universities, which is significant because our university, we did a inventory of what Drexel units are doing around age-friendly. We sent them a survey saying, what are you doing around age-friendly? We had all these questions, and they responded to that. And they also probably thought about, well, what they're not doing when they check the no. So it was a very educational, I think, process for the different units, such as like, you know, from alumni relations to facilities, right? And then we also did a second survey to the actual CNHP community to see what they felt was age-friendly about the university. And this big research project was through the University of Massachusetts at Boston, and they're going to be putting together all this information. We're going to get a report back around what we're doing and the perceptions around age-friendly, and also just where is there room for improvement. So that report we will definitely be getting out to our CNHP community and beyond, our Drexel community, excuse me. In the city of Philadelphia, actually, the mayor, the former mayor signed on to a big World Health Organization initiative called Age-Friendly Philadelphia. And it's still going on. And so we are working as an age-friendly university with Age-Friendly Philadelphia, which is now being managed by AARP and the city. So we're creating a lot of alliances is what I'm really trying to say. And it's been very exciting, and we will bring it back to you all to tell you more about them. And lastly, student involvement. We are one of the real focal areas of this is getting students interested in aging and thinking about aging, not just for their parents and grandparents, but really for themselves. And so Dr. DiMaria Galili will speak a little bit about the Honor Symposium, which is really addressing that. We are funding, we have a co-op at the Age Well Collaboratory. We've had co-ops in the past. We're trying to create co-op opportunities because students have told us there are not enough co-ops in aging. And we also have an Age Well Student Advisory Committee. So for that Age Well Collaboratory, we have a group of students who help advise us on a lot of our educational offerings or initiatives. And then my last slide that I will be covering, and then I'll be passing over to Dr. Maria Galili, is just some examples of our current activities. You heard that we have a variety of people on our steering committee. And so, for example, our human resources representative has done an incredible job thinking about how to include retired staff in the benefits and things that we offer to other retirees. And so there is now a big push to extend benefits to retired staff. Duo, Drexel University Online, has already created a test drive, which is their their way to train new students how to use the online platform. And they are talking about age-friendly and asking the question about what age-friendly means to them. They are really embracing it. Drexel Duo is doing a great job with that. We are working with Goodwin. They are thinking about how to develop some sort of academy, like an Age Well Academy, whereby professionals who work in aging, maybe even outside of Drexel, could take some courses around aging, or possibly also to look at how older adults who want to just get back into the university setting can come in and take courses at Goodwin. Dornsife, definitely, we've been working a lot with Dornsife. They have a senior advisory council at Dornsife, and we've done programming and research projects with this group. Writers' Room has always been intergenerational, always, and they are just moving it forward. They have embraced it. They've taken this, they have a new building called Ross Commons, and they want to be the signature age-friendly building on campus, which is just incredibly exciting. Institutional advancement, they are focused on their alum, and they're getting even more focused now on their older alum, and doing more programming. They're also really promoting the Dragon Network, which is a new tool to connect students with alum, which is a wonderful intergenerational, virtual exchange platform. Lindy Center, does so much around aging. I just picked one little thing, was that, oh, hey, we have 16 hours. We can use our 16 hours to connect with an organization that serves older adults. Staff do, sorry. And so Lindy will facilitate that. And then government relations is always looking to advocate and sign on to different campaigns that support healthy aging and support a lot of the work that we're doing at Drexel to move our agenda forward. So we have an incredible group with our steering committee, and stay tuned for more, because there definitely will be a lot more going on in the coming year. So I'm going to pass it on to Dr. D.
Thanks, Kate, and hi, everyone. I'm sure those of you on the call have heard a lot about some of our great research initiatives. So under AgeWell there's a research arm, and I lead the Celta Society Aging Research Network. It's a Drexel area of research excellence. It brings together over 30 faculty across Drexel University interested in aging research, from the cellular level to the society level. And that's really quite impressive, because there are a lot of people, faculty across the university, that are interested in aging research, but some people do it from a biological lens and look at it at the cellular level. And some faculty are looking more at policy work. So we meet monthly to talk about our research themes and initiatives. We've been in effect, or been together as a cohort, for 2 years. We've launched several different pilot funding opportunities for faculty and students as well. And we're really quite excited about that for graduate students who are interested in doing research around aging, so that they can have some pilot funding to either fund their dissertation research, or and that could serve as pilot work for other types of grants. So it's really been a great opportunity. And for faculty who do apply for Celta Society grants, it's interdisciplinary. So they have to collaborate with other faculty around aging research. So it's been a great opportunity. And one of the key or really, really terrific opportunities that came out of Cell to Society was the collaboration we're working on with Pennoni Honors College. So each year, the Honors College offers a interdisciplinary symposium series where 6 courses are given related to the symposium theme. And then there are little or smaller courses sprinkled throughout the honors program related to the theme. So we were asked to lead the symposium this year. It's on aging, and we've developed 6 courses around aging for the Pennoni Honors College. Kate, Clark, and I are teaching right now the first kickoff course. It's Rethinking Healthy Aging through Public Policy and Healthcare Innovation. We will have Kathy Quays on the Zoom, I see, and Dr. Helen Tang will be teaching Designing Your Death Plan, Living and Aging According to Your Desires. So that will be a course, I think that'll be offered in the winter quarter or spring, I forget. So Dr. Don McKetchin, Andres Creed will be teaching a course in the winter quarter on evolution versus design, challenges in human aging, and that will definitely be a really exciting course. Looking at the biology and of human aging. Dr. Christine Mulhorn, who's on, will be leading aging policy and health in Asia as an honors course. And I think that will be a global classroom as well, course. So we're really excited. Dr. Shushi Yoshinaga from Westfall will be teaching a course, Design for Aging Awareness. And that I think is going to be in the spring or summer. And then the writer's room will be teaching a cross-disciplinary course about writing and exploring memories and meaning. So it'll be definitely transdisciplinary and transgenerational. So today we had actually our kickoff course for Pennoni, and we were amazed. We have over 20 students. We have 20 students in this course. They from different disciplines and really excited about learning more about healthy aging. So we're just excited to offer this. And we do hope that we could take these courses, run them the first time, and maybe think about developing a certificate or a minor in gerontology or aging here at Drexel. So this is really a great opportunity to bring together faculty from across the university interested in aging as well, in terms of from an educational lens. So we're really excited. So there's a lot of opportunities for students to get involved in the aging initiatives and for faculty as well. But in keeping with the age-friendly theme, the Age-Friendly Committee, and thank you, Dean Gitlin, for this opportunity to offer age-friendly pilot grants. So we do have a lot for research and education and student funding, but we don't really have any funding opportunities across Drexel to really develop the age-friendly initiative within in people's home units. So we've launched this pilot program, Age-Friendly Pilot Grants. It's open to all full-time faculty, whether they're tenure track or non-tenured, and professional staff, which is really a great opportunity at Drexel. And students are encouraged to be on the teams. And the purpose of this is to really look at the age-friendly principles and come up with an idea to improve one of these age-friendly principles at Drexel University. So we're really excited. The funding amount is up to $10,000 per team. So that's really quite a nice chunk of change. And we will be launching, the applications are due September 27th by 5 p.m. And we will, look at the grants quickly, and folks will have a year to work on their projects. And if you can't, submit by September 27th, we will have a second funding cycle, which will be due December 1st. So we're really excited, and please reach out if you have any questions. So Anything else? I think that was the last slide. Great, thank you. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dean Gibb.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everybody. So at this time, and we're not that big. We can entertain any questions or thoughts. So please just turn off your mute and weigh in if you have any questions. I answered the question from Kathy Quay, who asked for the reference for that Yale study that I had mentioned about the APOE 4 and positive aging beliefs. So any other questions or thoughts or comments or ideas that you didn't have a chance to express? Okay, I'm going to do a little filler unless we have, and then we can actually end early if there's no comments. But I just wanted to say one of the slides that I meant to give, and which I didn't, and it's I found it very powerful, but we took students to Chile when we were allowed. I think it was 2019. And we saw murals with young and old people all together, older people in racing cars, which was really interesting. And one of the things that really struck me is in the in like a big store like Macy's, in the beauty counter, there were pictures of women who were older selling cosmetic products. And they had these beautiful faces of older women, and you knew they were older because of the wrinkled skin and or their graying hair or other features. And they were promoting all different kinds of cosmetics. And so I just found that to be very powerful as a way to integrate a life course and aging perspective, because who isn't, among women at least, interested in cosmetics at any age? Not to say that Chile doesn't have its own ageism. In other words, it's almost impossible to get a job over the age of 55. And there's a big push for people to be retired. So they have a long way to go. But in terms of the cultural fabric, they have much better age integration than our country, and presence of older adults. It's very common to go to any bar and see every age from a baby to a great-great-grandmother dancing away. And that's very, very common. But at any rate, I just thought I'd share that. So I think there's a couple of comments. If somebody can help me, I can't really see.
Yeah,
them.
there's the one comment from Cynthia I thought was wonderful. She said, Steinbreit should develop a training module for co-ops so they are ready to engage in positive relationships in age diverse organizations and teams.
Yeah, that is terrific. That is
Yes.
great.
So,
Put that on.
Yeah, and you know, as one of the aspects of our 6 courses that we're rolling out this year, all students have to complete a module on ageism and reframing ageism. And so that's the first competency we want all the students to have, no matter how many times they take the class. And that will be built into all of our courses.
Yeah, that would be, that's really, really terrific.
Also, Cynthia, we have a member from Steinbreit on our committee, so we will definitely bring this back.
Yeah, no, that's really great. Yeah.
Was
Any other
one other,
thoughts or comments? Yeah.
There was another, hello, will this grant be offered next year?
Yeah, we hope so. And we think, you know, it really is important that people have an opportunity to think about what they want to do and then be able to submit something. So we'll see what this first round looks like, but then we'll have another round. Yes. Any other comments?
Reframing aging link to the trainings in the chat in case anybody wants to check it out.
I have just a question for you, Roseanne. Anybody can join the CELTA, any research faculty or professional staff could join the CELTA Society, and what's the best way of doing that? Would they shoot Zach an email or what?
Yes. They can send Zach an email or send it to me. We also have an email, cell2society@drexel.edu. Cell with a 2 to society.
Great. Good. Okay, any other thoughts or comments, ideas? Okay, well, thank you, everybody, for helping to make this forum. And thank you, Darren. And I'll turn it back to you for any final advertisements for future Tuesday topics or anything else just to close us out.
Hi, everybody. Thanks again. Thank you, Dean Gitlin and Kate Clark and Dr. DiMaria Galili for a really interesting conversation. Thank you so much. Just a reminder, so we will, today's Tuesday topic, no Tuesday topic next week. We'll see you October the 5th. So register for them all. I want to see you all there. Thank you so much.